episode is brought to you by Support the Mountain's Herbal Parasite Cleanse. This formula targets the small and large intestinal tracts and larvae, the most broad-spectrum formula available today. 100% organic, formulated by Dr. Mikio Sankey, author of the Esoteric Acupuncture series. For 10% off your first bottle, visit shopyogahub.com and use the coupon code CLEANSE at checkout. Hello and welcome to YHTV's Flowing into Awareness with visionary and master intuitive Anna Tara. I'm Christina Suzama, your host of this program. Today we will talk about the frequency of happiness with the beautiful Anna Tara.
Good day to you, Christina.
Hello, Anna Tara, and a good day to you.
Are you happy right now?
Oh, yes. We're talking about frequency of happiness as I'm bouncing on my ball. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just bounce over here in unison with you. Happiness, the frequency of happiness. When I watch people, when I observe people, I notice that some people are happy and some people are not. There's nothing abnormal or wrong about not being happy. But when people are not living with and imbibing what I'm going to describe as the frequency of being happy, it generally means that other things in their life aren't going very well as far as they're concerned. It generally means that they are sad or unhappy or stressed or depressed or just in a very low sort of state of living and state of being. So the frequency of happiness, what is that? To me, it's being able to express oneself just as you are. It's feeling that who you are is on the surface of who you are and how you live your life. It means that you are able to roll with the punches that come your way, that even though you're not sort of ebullient and effervescent in every second, that kind of happiness, that at least there's a contentment inside you. And I've been talking a lot this week about general contentment to friends, especially to clients, because people have the feeling or the idea that they cannot be content, that there's a reason that they're not allowed to be happy. And to me, contentment is a sort of a vessel for whatever happiness is available to come through you. Now, there are going to be times when you shut yourself down, when someone says something to you that really puts you off, and that stops your contentment or happiness in that moment. But what is under that general sense of being shut down on an immediate or intermittent level? Where is the part of you speaking to you from that says you are allowed to be happy? You are allowed to look for happiness. You are allowed to sense that happiness is one of the things that you are here to have and to feel and to be. So the frequency of happiness, it's not the same for everyone. It doesn't look the same for everyone. It doesn't describe itself in exactly the same way to everyone. For some people, happiness might be that they're laughing and joking and carrying on in that kind of way. For someone else, it might be that their happiness is very calm and peaceful and quiet. You look at a child and you see what their happiness is immediately. But what is your signature of happiness? What are you carrying with you in the stories about your life and who you've been and who you are that says you're not allowed to be happy? How are you turning off that frequency or that tap of happiness? Where do you look when you want proof that you are happy? And maybe that's one of the problems. Are we trying to prove to someone, trying to prove to ourselves that we are allowed to be happy, that we are happy? I want you to think for a moment about what you are doing or what the feeling inside you is describing to you when you call yourself happy. What is it? Is it that your relationship is going well? Is it that you're just sitting back and that you have this vibration, this frequency within you that says, I feel happy right now. I feel content. Notice what that is for yourself. Find whatever that is. And remember that it's a description of a very important part of you. You know, happiness it's like a wave. It's up and it's down. It's outside and it's inside. Our individual happinesses are the result of what we are willing to allow ourselves to be. Our individual happinesses are visible through the expression of what we allow ourselves to express. It was sort of like a double entendre there, but what do you allow yourself to express? What do you allow yourself to be when you tell yourself, this is how I feel happy. This is when I'm allowed to feel happy. What does that happiness feel like to you? Is it joyful? Is it orgasmic? Is there peace within it? Is it a sense that the truth of you is flowing through? What is happiness to you? Only you can answer that. You may be able to get some feedback from family and friends, but you are the one who knows what happiness means to you. And you are the one who can look for those little signature moments that tell you, I'm allowed to have this. You know, if we don't allow ourselves to be in what I'm describing as the frequency of happiness, it's not going to happen. If we don't allow ourselves to step into a place of deep and earnest truth and peace, there's likely not going to be much happiness. So, two things to really look at. Is happiness within you? Is happiness external to you? How do you move and work and search for your happiness? What is your happiness speaking to you about your truth, your essence, your ability to be you? I know I talk a lot about coming back to being yourself, to being the truth of yourself. And the reason for that emphasis is that in that truth is the only place that you're going to find anything real. It's the only place where things like happiness can come from. It's the only place where things like love can come from. It's in that center of truth for you, happiness for you, love for you, joy for you, even diminished feelings and upset for you. Your truth is a complete vessel that allows you to find and describe the frequencies of all of the other things you have and do in your life. How about you, Christina? Happy?
Gee, what's that? I'm bouncing. This is a very powerful session, Anatara, because that in the world that we live in, and I do believe in different cultures, it will be very different. In different countries, it will be very different. We here in North America, we have so much material, so much of everything, the electronics, and yet, many people will, of course, still complain that we don't have enough. And this subject of happiness, and when you say within us as individuals, I could remember a time when I went to a country, and it was Thailand, and I could smell the sewers the moment the plane doors opened, and I was shocked. I traveled through Asia, but suddenly I was shocked. And I could remember being in a longboat going through the canals, crying as I'm watching these children dive into the water that's floating with feces, going, how can this be in the world? And suddenly, I came to a realization. The joy and laughter amongst each of these beautiful, smiling, laughing faces, the grandparents sitting on these makeshift balconies in their chairs, on their stools, watching these children jump in and out of this water that I wouldn't even want to touch. And when I saw the joy and the happiness that was so real, that was a moment that changed my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Because suddenly it all came that happiness is not what we have around us, but happiness is the joy and the honest, authentic truth inside.
Oh, it's so true, Christina, and very aptly, delivered to us just now. I remember having the same kind of experiences when I first got to India, and knowing, when I was very young, knowing that exactly what you just, pointed out, that the happiness comes from what we are internally. The happiness comes from what we believe internally, not only what is around us. And this also leads to one of the most important points of what I've been trying to explain and describe. If we keep and constantly say to ourselves, I will be happy if such and such happens. I will be happy when such and such happens.
Yes.
We're missing the point of happiness. Happiness is a vessel. It's this surrounding concept that can only be discovered now. It's not when, it's not if, it's not hopefully I will be happy someday. Happiness is now. There's a teacher that I've had who often says that she has met many people who work in public places, cleaning the latrines, cleaning the toilets, cleaning up other people's filth and slop and waste, and that they are happy. And I have seen this. And if someone can be happy in that situation, the happiness isn't coming from what they're doing. The happiness is coming from the feeling that they bring to what they're doing. It's coming from the interpretation of what they're doing. So there is a spot inside each and every one of you that knows this happiness. This point of reference within you has been, put off. It's felt like it had to defend itself because seemingly there were actions taken against us or situations that we were forced into that kept us from knowing that one tiny little point of inception of happiness wasn't allowed to exist. Make the mental switch that shows you and tells you that your happiness exists regardless of most of the things happening around you. And there you will find your true frequency of happiness. It's yours.
Lovely, Anatara. Very nice. Thank you so much. This is a very powerful moment of bringing awareness to what is truly important within each of us. Thank you so much. And of course,
happy.
Yeah. Bounce. No. We would also like to thank each and every one of you for joining us in this new platform of education and information. We're grateful for your continuous support, and we look forward to hearing your feedback on how we can serve you better. You can also connect with Anatara by following her on Twitter and also on Facebook, facebook.com/Master Intuitive. And of course, through her own website, anatara.ca. Again, we love your comments, your suggestions. You can leave it on the site at any time, no matter how many months or years that have gone by. We will definitely make sure that Anatara receives it. Or if you're listening to this on a device, give us a call at 818-LETS-TALK. 818-LETS-TALK. Until next time, namaste.
Between 80 to 90% of the people in the world today in the 21st century have this problem of candida overgrowth. And, what has led to, it's the 21st century with antibiotics, chlorinated water, too much carbohydrates, too much sugar, too much yeasts and sweets, that has created this overgrowth within us of candida that leads to a plethora of problems that is really a common denominator between